tomorrow. I'm doing a presentation for a church up north. So like, Karen said, just getting out there, decreasing the stigma, giving them that education, letting them know that it is, like she said, it's not a moral failing. And that's the biggest thing. It's showing them that, it's nothing that the parent necessarily did, but it's providing the tools for them to manage their situation, whether it's them or their child.
Thank you. Karen, if you could respond as well.
So I agree, the stigma piece is such a huge barrier to people asking for help. Cindy and I were actually talking about like therapists and counselors who struggle with addiction, who are too shameful to ask for help because their role is supposed to be at helping people. And it's just really, we're all human. We all have areas of opportunity. We all need help. So I think the one thing is stigma. I just did a talk on Wednesday night. I was in Dundalk speaking to some parents of some youth at risk. And I said, I'm not naive that youth are not going to have the opportunity to want to try alcohol and drugs. A lot of these kids were in middle school. Middle school is a tough time, but that's when they oftentimes are first exposed to having the opportunity to try substances. And so I said, I'm not unrealistic. What we try to do is we try to give the kids enough information that perhaps they choose not to use then, and it's postponed. The decision, the onset of use is postponed. I'm not naive to say you're never going to try alcohol or drugs. I have teenagers. My message to these folks that I talked to early this week, and even within my own family, is you're going to have to make choices. We provide education so that people hopefully make the right choice. However, you get caught up with your friends. Peer influence is so huge. Access to substances is really big. Factors that contribute to being susceptible, genetic component, to having a substance use disorder. And what I try to stress is there's help. You don't have to do this alone. You don't have to hit rock bottom to be able to ask for help. And that's one of the things that we do in our clinics is like, you think you may start to have sort of a dependency on this. Like, let's talk about it. Let's see if we can develop some other coping mechanisms and try to minimize the stigma that people feel, not just for asking for help for substance use, but also for mental health issues too. The rate of suicide is, anyone that we lose is far too great. And now with COVID and everything having shut down, thankfully things are starting to reopen again. But the isolation and depression that people felt and the increased use of substance use disorders was just tenfold. And so now trying to re-engage those folks to come back. We did have the opportunity to see people through Zoom, but it's made such a big difference to be able to have people back in the clinics. Seeing our docs for Suboxone or Vivitrol shots, which is considered medication-assisted treatment that helps with people who have substance use disorders. The other thing that we're challenged by is peer recovery support, peer recovery coaches. We certainly want more people who have lived experience in overcoming and going through a substance use disorder to be able to be an ally and a resource to folks who are struggling. I can talk all I want to someone who's in the throes of addiction, but they see me as a therapist and they may think that I'm judging them, even though I don't feel like I am. But if you put someone next to me who has gone through the challenges and maybe relapsed and had the struggles, they're probably going to talk to that person first, right? They're going to have more of a level of comfort with that person who has gone through an experience and come to the other side and has experienced recovery. And so I think it's dual. I think I need that peer recovery coach on my team so that we sort of are bookends. And so that I can do the trauma work and the causes and conditions of what happened and sort of how to sustain, good choices. And then we also have that peer recovery person. And Catholic Charities has a whole